The chime of the bell beckons us into sacred time. Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation to join us in meaningful worship and service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honrando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todas. We greet all those who join us this morning, and we hope those watching the live stream will fill out the online attendance form and refer to the many announcements in our online order of service. We ask those here in person to take a moment after the service and introduce yourself to someone that you may not yet know. Now I'll pass it to Savannah, who will lead us this morning in our first song.
Hello, everyone. Ooh, that was loud. Sorry. Good morning. If everybody will open up their gray hymnals to hymn 162, Gonna Lay Down My Sword and Shield, and rise with me, embody your spirit to join me in song. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more.
We gather this morning in the spirit of the old dream of human peace and freedom. I'm going to lay down my sword and shield. I'm going to study war no more, we say. May this community, may this place, may this space, this day and time be a place for dreaming of such a world and doing what we can to build it together. I'm going to lay down my burdens, lay down my sword and shield, summoning the spirits of peace and hope and justice and dreams. I say, come, friends, let us worship together.
join me in reciting our congregational covenant, which you'll find in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
My man, what's happening? Right on, brother.
Peace, brother. You're looking awful smooth.
Hey, well, I've just been to the disco. Hey, did you hear about the really cool auction going on at First Unitarian Universalist Church? It starts on November 29th with stuff being sold online. The internet was even invented back in the 70s, believe it or not. But the main event is the live auction and party on the 6th of December. But we have a lot of groovy ministers down at First UU who really know how to throw a party. But the best part about the whole thing is that people in the congregation donate things and businesses donate things, and all the proceeds benefit the church. Can you believe that?
Dynamite!
But the live auction party on the 6th of December, at the end of the evening, we have a live auction in the sanctuary. But you know what, Earl? I heard that you know a lot of things about live auctions, including having some corny jokes to throw in there.
You better believe it.
You want to give me an example? How do you do a live auction?
All righty. Well, let's say we're going to auction off a round trip to the airport.
Okay.
Okay? So I'd like to get a starting bid at $50. Who gave me a starting bid at $50? Anybody give me? I got a $50 bid over there. Anybody give me 100? I got a $50 bid. Give me 100. Anybody give me 100? I got a $100 bid right over there. Anybody give me 150? Anybody give me 150? I got 150 up there. Anybody give me 200? I got 150. Give me 200. Anybody give me 200? I got 150. Give me 200. I got 200 over there. Anybody give me 250? I got $200 bid. Give me 250. Anybody give me 250? Okay. No more bids. Going once. Going twice. Sold.
Hope to see you at the auction.
Beloveds, now is the time for settling into this space, for feeling yourself fully arrive exactly as you are. Take a breath, feel your chest rise and fall. Notice any place you may be holding tension in your body and send that grace and tenderness and rest. Imagine your body is like an ice cube or a pad of butter, and let yourself melt. Allow your breaths now to move in and out naturally, as deep as you need them to be, and extend gratitude to the natural rise and fall of your body. And we breathe together. Breathing in, I am breathing in. Breathing out, I am breathing out. Breathing in, I am grounded. Breathing out, I am grounded. Breathing in, I am calm. Breathing out, I am calm. Breathing in, I am peaceful. Breathing out, I am peaceful. Breathing in, I am safe. Breathing out, I am safe. Breathing in, I am grateful. Breathing out, I am grateful. In all the busyness of our day, our breath grounds us and reminds us we are a part of the larger heartbeat of the world. Today, we honor and dignify the upcoming Transgender Day of Remembrance, annually observed on November 20th, which honors the memory of the transgender people whose lives were lost in acts of transphobic violence. From this moment of grace and groundedness, we visit our open hearts, awash in grief for our transgender siblings. Spirit of life, hear this prayer of recognition. Help us recognize the roots of sexism and white supremacy that feed transphobia and make so many members of the web of life unsafe. Help us recognize the power of our privilege as we speak truth to injustice. And help us recognize that nothing changes unless we are willing to sacrifice our comfort with the status quo. Spirit of life, this is a prayer of resistance. Help us resist theologies and ideologies that stoke separateness, that prey on the vulnerable, that end lives instead of nourishing them. Help us resist collusion with violence, with systems that feign help but really hurt, and help us resist our complicity through silence. Spirit of life, this is a prayer of remembrance. Help us remember the 354 humans lost, reported to the Trans Lives Matter database by the people who loved them. Help us remember the most marginalized today, the trans women of color, the sex workers, the houseless, the abandoned, the discarded. Help us to remember to uplift, honor, and dignify all members of our interconnected web, not only after their death, but in their precious life. May this day of remembrance also be a day of resilience. May participating in mourning precipitate working for change alongside the living, in grief and remembrance as one human family. Amen. We pause now, as we do every week, together to lift up all which sits heavy and light on our hearts. Today, we keep Martina Staples in our thoughts as she navigates ongoing health concerns. We hold Rosemary Loden closely as she receives ongoing medical treatment. We send healing thoughts to Cheryl Rivers as she recovers from a procedure on her knee. We hold Pandora Johnson with tender care as she navigates ongoing breast cancer treatment. We send healing thoughts to Jason and Kim Clark, longtime friends of the Boston family, who are both recovering from an acute accident. And we hold Ames's grandfather in our hearts as he experiences some health declines. And we send him our loving thoughts and hope for healing. We continue to hold in our hearts those mourning the recent passing of loved ones, those who are recovering from accidents, illnesses, or medical procedures. Our hearts, even if we don't know what is heavy on yours, are always with you. Mi Sheberach is a prayer in the Jewish tradition for the healing of those whose names are called out by congregants. There are similar prayers in the African, indigenous, and pagan traditions, and we honor these rituals by saying aloud or bringing to mind those who we wish to be held by the loving embrace of this religious community. They are a part of the great cloud of witness and memory, and we will, even if we don't know their names, hold them in our hearts. Along with all spoken aloud, let us remember the suffering and joy amid our community that we don't know, and that which is kept in the silence of our hearts. We pause together in awe and wonder of the beauty, diversity, and mystery that is life. In the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite each of you into a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection.
This is my prayer. This is my prayer.
Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values. Through our generosity, our work in the world is proliferated and our values are brought to life. This week, we are supporting Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry, the UU State Action Network for Texas. This coalition represents dozens of UU congregations in Texas, all united around the mission to educate and organize UUs, congregations, and partners to advocate effectively for our principles in public policy and the public square. We now invite Dale Story to speak further about Texas UU Justice Ministry's work.
Thank you very much, Becky. Personal stories are very important. I need to begin with one. While I have been only a UU for 4 years, the seeds were planted over 50 years ago. We had formed an anti-war group at SMU and were invited to join the Dallas Peace Committee, which First Unitarian Church of Dallas was supporting with the facility on their campus and funding for executive director, supplies, etc. The next several years were quite impactful period of peaceful events opposing the war and racism, but also included infiltration and harassment by the Dallas Police Department and the SMU president denying our right to free speech, whom we promptly sued. But First Unitarian Dallas, never backed down and continued to provide support, and I've never forgotten that. As soon as I became a member here, I joined the JCC, which followed with involvement in Texas UJM. That's the Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Committee. I was reminded of the Dallas Church decades ago in terms of an unfettered commitment to social justice. Texas UJM's commitment to promoting our values in the public squares provide a powerful coalition of over 40 Texas congregations, along with other state congregations, action networks nationwide. A brief rundown of some of the examples of the work of Texas UJM. Lobbying in the state legislature in odd number years. 200 UUs singing in our yellow shirts in the rotunda is unforgettable. UU the Vote in even-numbered years, Action Hour every Thursday evening via Zoom. We contact elected officials, write letters, and hear from guest speakers. Recent examples include leaders from Trans Education Network of Texas, Houston Leads, Texas Jail Project, Texas Civil Rights Project, and Plan C Pills. In election years, we spend time phone banking and writing letters or postcards to encourage turnout. Texas UJM has also hosted many educational and inspirational programs. Current examples are trans inclusion in congregations and a sacred journey, a transformational path to reproductive dignity. I want to thank Mary Cook for speaking last week and serving as a board member, almost essentially a charter member for some 6 years. Our speaker next Sunday will be Michelle Banegos-Matula, the interim ED director and a community organizer during the months of Reverend Aaron's sabbatical. And her visit coincides with a very important event, Conversations on Mutual Aid with Dean Spade, occurring at 2 p.m. next Sunday. Michelle will be available with us after church at 2 for an online event. Please mark your calendar, and more information will be forthcoming. I'm still going to do this. Thank you so much, Nina, for recognizing the day of remembrance, Tidor. I also want to close with another statement from Uplift and the Trans Inclusion Congregations. Today we remember our sacred kin. Each one was beloved, each one mattered, but memory alone is no longer enough. To mourn is to move, to build, to act, to center love in a way that keeps people alive. May we commit to love the living well enough that we keep fighting, no matter how long it takes, until there are no more names to be mourned, no more lives taken by violence too soon. So, on behalf of the board and staff of Texas USM, I thank you for your ongoing support.
Thank you, Dale. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service, and those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask that you give generously. An offering will now gratefully be received.
Please join me in the words to dedicate our offering found in your order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
The first reading today is an excerpt from No Straight Road Takes You There by Rebecca Solnit. They want you to feel powerless and to surrender and to let them trample everything, and you are not going to let them. You are not giving up, and neither am I. The fact that we cannot save everything does not mean we cannot save anything, and everything we can save is worth saving. You may need to grieve or scream or take time off, but you have a role no matter what. And right now, good friends and good principles are worth gathering in. Remember what you love. Remember what loves you. Remember in this tide of hate what love is. The pain you feel is because of what you love. Here ends the first reading.
Today's second reading is from Paradise Lost by John Milton. All is not lost. The inconquerable will and study of revenge, immortal hate, and courage never to submit or yield. And what is else not to be overcome? That glory never shall his wrath or might extort from me. To bow and sue for grace with suppliant knee, and defy his power, who from the terror of this arm so late doubted his empire, that were low indeed, that were an ignominy and shame beneath this downfall. Since by fate the strength of gods and this imperial substance cannot fail. Since through experience of this great event in arms not worse, in foresight much advanced, we may, with more successful hope, resolve to wage by force or guile eternal war irreconcilable. To our grand foe who now triumphs, and in the excess of joy, soul reigning, holds the tyranny of heaven. Here ends the second reading.
Everyone, if you will open up your gray hymnal to hymn 157, Step by Step, the Longest March, and rise with me in body or spirit to join me in song. Step by step, the longest march can be won, many souls can form and march, singing on, and by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singing on, singing on.
The tragedy of life is not that people lose, but that they almost win. The journalist Edward Brown once quipped, "It's not a bad summation of the human experience. Most lives, even lived poorly or amidst the greatest of hardships, contain at least some fragments of joy." The cartoonist Keith Knight has an ongoing bit in his comic strip, The K Chronicles, designated to sharing life's little victories. These are those small moments of beauty, hope, inspiration that burst forth unbidden. They include the mundane and possibly absurd. Number 4,155, leaving a cup of Java on the roof of your car and driving off, and it's still there when you reach your destination. As well as the extraordinary and perhaps profound. Number 4,159, your teenager from heck battles you every step of the way. The panel shows a father crying, "Where did I go wrong?" while his daughter screams, "Why can't I sniff glue and date 30-year-olds? Everybody's doing it. I hate you." And then 10 years later, she lists you as her hero on social media. But whatever wins there are, however little or big the victories, we all come to a different point. Mary Oliver, that poet beloved by so many Unitarian Universalists, invited us to face it well when she asked, "Doesn't everything die at last and too soon?" Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Considering such queries, I'm convinced that one of our true struggles is to hold on to the good. Life's little victory, number 71,923. Turning on the shower, and the temperature is perfect. While accepting that life is filled with grief and loss. The two are often interlinked. In that powerful text, the auguries of experience, William Blake reminded us, in somewhat dated language, man was made for joy and woe. And in this we rightly know, through the world we safely go. Joy and woe are woven fine, a clothing for the soul divine. Under every grief and pine, run a joy with silken twine. Now, in recent months, I, like many of you, I suspect, have struggled. There's been rather more grief in my life than joy. It's been hard at times to recall the silken twine that Blank reminds us runs under every woe. And I suspect that this has been true for a lot of people. I know that in our congregation, there have been personal challenges in the last year. The dissolution of relationships, federal employees amongst us who have struggled during the government furlough, struggles with food insecurity as the president has weaponized economic aid and turned a basic nutrition program into a bargaining chip, friends or family members or community members kidnapped by ICE, the deaths of loved ones, illnesses, and all the accompanying hardships of human mortality. I imagine that for some of you, such things have made it a challenge to find the silken twine. The matter has been made even worse, of course, by the political cruelty of the president and his acolytes. We see the lavish parties at Mar-a-Lago, the false promises to end the genocide in Palestine, climate crisis denial, the administration's most favored Afrikaner on track to become the world's first trillionaire. We do not need billionaires, let alone trillionaires. There is much in public life as well as private life to grieve. It is a central purpose of our gathering to hold us in such public and private griefs, to help us hold on to the silken twine. One way we do this is through building what we call beloved community. It is described by the president of our association, Sophia Benecourt, as creating a space where we are constantly connected to a hope-filled belief in human goodness and capacity for love. The Buddhist tradition speaks of it as well, lifting up 3 jewels to assist us in our suffering, the inevitable grief that comes in our life when from having almost won, from having found the silken twine but then coming close to losing it. One of these is the Sangha, the religious community. When you enter into our sanctuary or join us online, you're invited into a space where you can share your grief and work to soothe the grief of others. This is one of the ways I interpret 2 of the lines from our covenant. Love is the spirit of our congregation, and to encourage one another. Such a spirit invokes us to always recall those silken twines, even in the times of greatest hardship. Like most authentic religious communities, we testify to our shared love through our ongoing ministries of compassion, the visits of the care team to the sick and shut-in, the aid we give to each other when we are in need, the shared parenting of religious exploration, the assurances, the celebrations, the joys we offer in worship, in small groups, and in all that is our life together. At our best, we exemplify our shared love, as many religious communities do, when we live out that old socialist slogan, from each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs. It's a slogan inspired not coincidentally by the Christian New Testament. In the Acts of the Apostles, it reads, "The apostles agreed to make a contribution, each according to his means, for the relief of their fellows." Joining the community does more than just provide us with a way to accompany each other in our private griefs. It offers us a religious tradition from which we can understand our public griefs and even find a source of hope. Recall that silken twine so that we might survive them. Throughout this program year, we have been turning to our history as a tradition of religious dissent to aid us in reckoning with our public grief. Writing immediately after the 2024 election, Rebecca Solnit offered us reflections on just how overwhelming that public grief can feel. Describing the attitude of the victors, the proponents of the politics of cruelty, she wrote, "They want you to feel powerless and to surrender and let them trample everything." But she observed in another essay, "The unforeseen regularly happens." We are charged, in her words, not to take the short-term view, which breeds defeatism and despair. Instead, we're called to lean into the long-term one, in which we come to understand that crucial change is always possible. It just does not happen immediately, completely, or even permanently. Once you create a new vision of what is possible and acceptable, she observed, the seeds are planted. Once it becomes what the majority believes, you've created the conditions for winning to happen. The planting of seeds, the recollection of silken twines, the historian Robin Kelly names this work freedom dreaming, the act of seeing life as possibility, even in times of defeat and despair. It is the work of proclaiming the kind of politics, the kind of community that has more to do with imagining a different future than being upset with the present. Such dreaming has long been part of our religious tradition. Each Sunday, we say that we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. The phrase comes from a letter to the Hebrews in the Christian New Testament, where it reads in part, "With a great cloud of witnesses around us, therefore, we must throw off every encumbrance and run with resolution the race that lies ahead of us." The words are a reminder that we struggle with public grief as part of a community that has struggled with it for generations. Unitarian Universalists seek to bring about our aspirations for a better world, to live in a society where, to invoke Cornel West, justice is what love looks like in public. Our greatest religious ancestors, one of our greatest religious ancestors, who invites us into freedom dreaming during times of despair, who points a way to sit with our public grief even as we hold on to our private griefs, is the poet John Milton. Now, you might not think of him as a Unitarian. His name rarely gets dropped in the cloud of witnesses that includes Ralph Waldo Emerson, Margaret Fuller, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, William Ellery Channing, Frederick Douglass, or Mary Wollstonecraft. That collection of 18th and 19th century divines we often think of as our religious ancestors. But Milton was a religious dissenter who held distinctly anti-Trinitarian views, conceiving of Jesus not as the same entity of God, but as a distinct being from God. William Ellery Channing, the Unitarian theologian to which our tradition owes so much and for which our fellowship hall is named, thought so highly of Milton that he wrote a short book titled Remarks on the Character and Writings of John Milton. In it, he lifted up not only the poet's constant attachment to liberty, and detailed how he was devoted to freedom of thought, of conscience, and worship, freedom to seek and profess and propagate truth, but emphasized Milton's Unitarianism. Channing held the poet to be one of our greatest forebearers, and his poem Paradise Lost to be perhaps the noblest monument of human genius. Now, it's possible that you've not heard the poet's name nor thought of his poem before. Milton was a 17th century political and religious radical as well as a writer. Educated at Cambridge, he was a defiant believer in the importance of the separation of church and state. He defended freedom of speech and freedom of press when such positions bordered on heresy. An opponent of the Church of England, a mocker of bishops, he took the revolutionary cause during the Civil War. A staunch supporter of res publica, the people shall rule, he wished for no kings in England, made no apologies when Charles I lost his head, and served the Commonwealth as perhaps its chief propagandist for those who opposed monarchs. But opposition to monarchs did not long endure. The king was beheaded, the people ruled, and then another king was restored to the throne. Milton's friends were imprisoned, tortured, and executed. He escaped the noose or the blade. A wanted man, he hid while his writings were burned. Isolated, alone, impoverished, his beloved wife recently dead, the light gone out, born with sight, he died blind in both eyes. Pushed to the social margins, all his cherished causes in retreat, the poet summoned his genius and composed his great texts as he struggled with private and public grief. All is not lost. The unconquerable will and study of revenge, immortal hate, and courage never to submit or yield, and what else is not to be overcome. The poem, you might recall, recounts the tale of Adam and Eve's expulsion from the Garden of Eden, elaborating greatly on a text found in the Hebrew Bible. Milton recounts how, tempted by the fallen angel, Satan, who appears perhaps as the hero of the story, they eat the fruit of knowledge, anger God, and are expelled from paradise. Their tale of loss, an original story of public grief. Once humanity had utopia, the story goes. All was right with the world. All the freedom dreams had been realized. There was universal health care, quality education. Miles and Mike Morath had nothing to do with our schools. Children who needed special education received it. Mass transit worked. Everyone who wanted to work could find a job with grace and dignity. There were homes for all. No one struggled on the streets of Houston, and everyone had an abundance of the good things in life. Eden was supposed to be something like that, but humanity strayed and lost it all. The poem was no doubt an allegory for what Milton thought had been destroyed when the king returned to the English throne. Written in the midst of his grief, though, he did not proclaim an ending that imagined permanent victories of monarchs. Instead, he invited his readers to dream with him of future possibilities, to hold on to the silken twine. Pushed out of the garden, the temporary utopia of the republic that flourished when the king was gone, Milton did not close his poem with a note of enduring despair or overwhelming grief. Instead, he encouraged his readers to understand that the possibility of freedom still lay before them. The poem's penultimate verses read, "The world was all before them, where to choose their place to rest, and Providence their guide." Such a thick history may sit ill on Sunday morning, but within it, I think we can find some hope and assurance that together, amidst the greatest of difficulties, we can say with the poet or the playwright Samuel Beckett, "I can't go on, I'll go on. I can't go on, I'll go on." Being religious dissenters in times when Christian nationalists seek to merge reactionary theology with the law means consistently proclaiming the importance of the separation of church and the state. In Greg Abbott's Texas, it might even mean invoking the words of the late poet Gil Scott-Heron, who said, "Especially that church and that state." It means proclaiming the right to conscience. When they try to require public schools to post the 10 Commandments, it means saying religious choice is a matter of private conscience. When they outlaw women's reproductive health, it means saying reproductive choice is a matter of private conscience. When they oppose gender-affirming care, target the transgender community, seek to strip crosswalks of rainbow beauty, it means saying that gender identity and consensual loves are private matters of the heart. Our tradition, Milton and so many others reminds us, calls us to say loudly, clearly, no religious community should use the law to dictate morality for everyone. This the poet knew, writing in the 17th century, that freedom consists in either spiritual or civic liberty. Who can be at rest? Who can enjoy anything? Who hath not liberty to serve God according to the best light God hath planted inside to that purpose? The best light God hath planted. Aged words that remind us that our tradition calls us to look first to that divine spark, that power to love each other and the world around us, that leaps from each to each, first for religious authority. We seek validation in scriptures, from the law, from philosophers, from theologians, from poets, from preachers, only second. First, though, it is always the likeness to God, as Channing preached, or the best life God hath planted, as Milton put it. First, the love found in each of our hearts. Second, everything else. In the midst of our griefs, private and public, the love inscribed in each of our breasts and proclaimed in our covenant, love is the spirit of our congregation, should cause us always to ask two questions. First, how can I demonstrate my love to others? Second, how can I carry on the tradition of dissent where justice becomes what love looks like in public? The answers to such questions are never definitive. The world was all before them, where to choose, the poet told us. But they can be found in the past, here and in other communities, where, during times like these, when it feels as if we live in the midst of defeat, when it appears in Solnet's words that those who want us to feel powerless and to surrender as they might trample everything are winning, when we seek to actualize love together in our shared work of compassion, and when we invite each other to dream of freedom, to nourish the silken twine of what will come after this time of public grief. Our tradition invites us to imagine, to dream. Such encouragement is found in that great poem, Paradise Lost, as in so many other texts and words and deeds from our religious ancestors, who lived through times of public grief so that they might proclaim another world is possible. This Sunday, every Sunday, let us invite each other to dream so that we might inspire each other, even in the most difficult of times, to speak not of paradise lost, but of paradise found. That it might be so, I invite the congregation to say, Amen.
I invite everybody to open up your gray hymnal to number 18, What Wondrous Love, and rise with me, embody your spirit, and join me in song. wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, beneath my sorrows drown, friends to be gathered round. Oh my soul, friends to be gathered round. Oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends, to make and sorrow men, with thanks unto the end. I will sing, I will sing, with thanks unto the end. I will sing.
Please join with me in extinguishing the chalice using the words you'll find in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Let us leave this place knowing that we always have the power to dream of a better world and to carry the blessings of love within our hearts. Go in peace, seek justice, and make our lives a blessing. Amen. Thank you for joining us. We want to know who you are and would love to connect with you. Please fill out the link to the online attendance form, and if you are on YouTube, click like and subscribe. If you're interested in joining our congregation, email us at membership@firstuuhouston.org. Thanks so much.